Hello, my name's Ben.
And my name's Josh.
And welcome back to FPL Graduates and welcome back to another video. Now, international break, we all know what that means. Wildcard time. And I am wildcarding myself. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little look into that wildcard. Okay, so starting off in goal, we have transferred in Nick Pope. Now, I'm unsure about him. I'm unsure mainly because I've got another Newcastle defender. I'm unsure about the doubling up of them. But they do look sort of decent at the moment in terms of their fixtures as well. Let's have a look here. Yeah, it's not bad. Like, it's a good run of fixtures to have. Josh, what are your thoughts on Nick Pope?
Yeah, I'm sort of in the same boat as you in terms of the double up. I don't know if it's necessarily the most effective route to go down, but I prefer Trippier over Pope. So it's a little bit of a difficult one. I think Guaita is a good alternative at Palace. I know Gahey provides a cheaper value there, but in goal, like goalkeeper, I find such a difficult position to pick on FPL, and I think it's proven that to be the case again this season.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and I'm definitely considering Guaita as well. And it's just worth looking at who I would actually double up on in there. So let's move on to the defense. So we're currently set up with a 3 in defense. We've got João Cancelo, Kieran Trippier, and Reece James. We've gone sort of mid-premium options there. Cancelo stayed in. I do think he's probably a season keeper for me, unless, you know, in the blank game week, I fancy bringing in Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trippier, I really like how he just attracts bonus points through chances created through the amount of set pieces he gets. And Reece James, I feel like Chelsea have got to improve under Graham Potter, so that's why he's in there, and his attacking threat is always going to be there in that Chelsea team.
Yeah, really decent defence there. Like you said, Cancelo, the only way he leaves my team is maybe in that game week 12, but it all depends on how Liverpool do in the run-up to that. Trippier, like you said, really good asset. I alluded to him when speaking about Pope. Reece James, I'm really excited to see how he performs under Potter. I think he could be like such a fantastic asset if he stays fit. Obviously, he's got his right wing-back place to fight for in that England squad up until the World Cup now. So I'm expecting to see some big performances from him. Under Potter as well, I think it's going to be lots of goals and assists coming for James.
Okay, so we're moving on into the midfield now. Well, we've spent a bit of money in there. We've kept Martinelli in there as my Arsenal player. I do think it's worth just keeping one in there, and I've got value tied up in Martinelli, so I think it's worth keeping him for that, and maybe even benching him when he has the blank. Maddison, Nottingham Forest at home, like we sort of alluded to in our transfer targets video. Maddison is probably one of the best picks to go for on a wild card, and even potential captaincy material if you're thinking differential. James Maddison, yeah, his form's been exemplary in 2022. So yeah, that's the guy I've gone for. De Bruyne, you know, until City blank, De Bruyne looks sensational at the moment. He's producing the goods for Manchester City and kind of almost looks like, you know, a main man alongside Haaland in terms of players who could be dropped. So, yeah, I've got De Bruyne in there. I've been tempted by Salah, but, you know, I'm just not sure. I'm going to have a think about it. It could very well be Salah by deadline, just because, you know, Salah looks to have picked up form. Liverpool's players, you know, back from injury. They could be a bit of a different team going into the next period of games. And then we've also got Wilfried Zaha, who, again, in our transfer targets video, and his fixtures are great after this first fixture against Chelsea in game week 9. Yeah, I think he could be talismanic for that Crystal Palace side.
Yeah, it's interesting with Martinelli. I think for me personally, if St. Maximin was definitely fit, I'd choose him over Martinelli right now. I know there's value in Martinelli, but I just think those Arsenal fixtures look poor. They blank in game week 12 as well. And by the looks of things, you're probably going to have 4 players who blank in game week 12. So how you navigate that with 3 premium Man City assets is going to be interesting. But yeah, he's the only one that I think I don't necessarily like too much about the midfield. But yeah, De Bruyne, I think for me, he stays in over Salah right now. Salah's not even that high owned now. He's like 30% owned, which is obviously quite high, but not near the likes that we've seen Salah before. So I think even if you go without him and he does go big, it's not going to be the end of the world.
Okay, so this is the strike force that we're on at the moment. We've got Haaland captain. Obviously, that is a sort of set and forget option, isn't it? We've got Mitrovic as well at home to Newcastle and Tony away to Bournemouth. Now, you can see now why I'm not so tempted by the Nick Pope and Trippier double up, because Newcastle play Mitrovic in game week 9 and Ivan Toney in game week 10. So it's sort of thinking what's worth doing. I think sort of Toney away at Bournemouth could do really, really well. I think he's got a point to prove against Southgate as well to make that World Cup squad. So I think he's only going to go from strength to strength. And Mitrovic, he looks like he's going to bag against anyone at any given time. So I think it's got to have him in. Hopefully he's all fit and ready to go for game week 9. We'll find out very soon on his fitness.
Yeah, really love the Toney shout. Bournemouth away. I'd be shocked to see him not come away with at least a return at the bare minimum. Mitrovic, like you said, it's going to be interesting to see if he does play. If he doesn't play, I'd almost feel like that clean sheet for Newcastle is a shoo-in. I don't really see Fulham troubling Newcastle without Mitrovic too much. But we'll have to wait and see on that. Obviously, we could be talking about Mitrovic playing as well. So, yeah, really nice front three. I think it's pretty much the standard front three. Now Isaac's out for a few weeks. So, yeah, it leaves little debate, really.
Okay, moving on to the bench where it's a little bit weaker, but I do have money in the bank. I think I have $1 million in the bank for this team. So it is quite a bit, and I can play around a bit with this team. We've got Ward in there, just a cheap £4 million option. Gay, who 4.3 million for a defender at Crystal Palace with those fixtures is an absolute bargain in my opinion. We've also got Andreas, a good value midfielder in there at 4.5, and the cheap value Nico Williams as well.
Yeah, decent bench. I think if, like I alluded to earlier with the Martinelli shout, if you're going to go with those 4 guys, it's going to be important to have some strong players on your bench because you're not going to be able to make all the transfers leading up to that. So maybe upgrading Nico to a better, higher premium defender. Obviously, you got $1 million to spend, so you could get a lot of different options. Even maybe a different City defender if you was not to go with De Bruyne. So there's loads of ways you could go down, but yeah, I think maybe a little strengthen up, and then you'll be sweet for game week 12.
Yeah, I think definitely a strengthen up's needed. We could easily go from like a Nico Williams to like a Dallo or someone like that. Okay, so that's my wildcard team. As we all know, it's probably not going to be locked in until Saturday morning. So it could very well, and it's very probable, going to change before the deadline. So that is what it is looking at the moment.
Yeah, make sure if you want to see Ben's latest wildcard draft before the deadline, sign up to the Patreon. The link's in the description. There is loads of other benefits too. We'll rate your team, all that good stuff. Check it out if that suits you.
And as per usual, I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
And we'll see you guys
later. Have a good game week, everyone.